Demosthenes was an orator from ancient Greece and was so skilled in rhetoric that many who heard his speeches would label him as the voice of Athens. In fact, it would be said that Demosthenes stood alone amongst all orators of his time and was the most skilled in the art of rhetoric. But Demosthenes was not always the voice of Athens. In fact, his story could have been very different. This is the story of Demosthenes. Demosthenes was born to wealth and would have grown up privileged in the Athenian upper class. His father, unfortunately, died when Demosthenes was 7. However, his father left him an inheritance in order to ensure his son's well-being and education. Unfortunately, the inheritance that his father left to him would be stolen and mishandled by Demosthenes' legal guardians. Adjusted to today's money, the inheritance would have been worth around $17 million. When Demosthenes came of age, he sought justice against his guardians. However, Demosthenes possessed a speech impediment. As the young man pleaded his case before the Athenian assembly, he fumbled his words and struggled to construct his argument. No matter how righteous he was, Demosthenes was promptly laughed out of the Athenian assembly. Any hope of seeking justice was effectively squashed. But this was not to be the end of Demosthenes. Demosthenes possessed a frail body, but not a frail mind, and he poured every ounce of his being into becoming a great orator and seeking justice. Inspired by one of Athens' greatest orators, Demosthenes would ruthlessly hone his craft. Demosthenes would practice yelling his speeches by the sea, projecting his voice over the roar of ocean waves. Demosthenes would practice giving speeches with pebbles in his mouth in order to refine his articulation of words. He would even build an underground cellar to train in solitude, and went as far as to shave his head so that he would be discouraged from going out in public and becoming distracted. Years of relentless training would pass until the day Demosthenes would re-emerge onto the Athenian public stage and lay claim to his birthright. Before the Athenian assembly, Demosthenes' refined arguments and supple voice eviscerated his inept guardians. Demosthenes extracted the remainder of his inheritance, but by this time, what remained was a paltry sum. But the monetary rewards mattered very little to Demosthenes, who was better off because of the ordeal that he faced. For his quest for justice forged him into someone that history would not soon forget. Word soon spread throughout Athens about Demosthenes, a man who could sway men with words alone. The most important lesson about Demosthenes' story is that in life, things will happen that are outside of our control. Sometimes good things, sometimes bad things. But the deciding factor of whether a thing is good or bad is us. It would have been easy for Demosthenes to give in to despair after being laughed out of the Athenian assembly that first time he sought justice. It would have been easy for him to drown himself in self-pity. Plenty of people have done it. Plenty of people will continue to do so. Most people allow misfortune in their lives to be the final say in their lives and never realize the power that they possess within. We can all empathize with not wanting to deal with life some days and wallowing in self-pity. But days turn to weeks, then months, then years, until one day we wake up and only bitterness remains. This is a dark path, and one that all too easily could have been the story of Demosthenes. Except Demosthenes chose to do something different. Instead of allowing his misfortune to become the nail in his coffin, he instead chose to use that nail to build himself. He used one of his greatest misfortunes as an origin story to build himself into history's greatest orator. In short, Demosthenes decided to be exceptional. We can all do this. We can all choose to be exceptional. Demosthenes was far from special, being weak of body and cursed with a speech impediment in his youth. The only thing special about him was the fortune that was stolen from him. There are many lessons from the tale of Demosthenes, but the most important lesson is this: you can choose. You can choose what you do in the face of tragedy as you can choose what you do at the heights of success. You can choose what emotions to act on and which you should distance yourself from. You can choose your story. It won't be easy, but if you want to achieve something worth remembering, then you must remember that you always have a choice. Thank you for watching to the end. If this video provided some value to you, please like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time.